to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Accomplishment Coaching is proud to present the following fine programming. Accomplishment Coaching, where coaches lead and leaders coach. AccomplishmentCoaching.com.
Welcome to Leadership Insights Radio.
Thanks for listening in. I'm Wade Taylor, and on today's show, I'm happy to be joined by Elijah Schneider. He is the CEO and founder of Modifly, which you can learn about online at wemodifly.com. That's MODIFLY.com. Go ahead and open up a web browser and go there right now, and then just continue listening to us. And I want to learn more about Modifly. But one of the things that I find interesting and where I'd like to start is you are also the founder, right? And so you're the entrepreneur. You're the person that kind of launched it. And as I, talk to entrepreneurs, I advise people about different things. It really has to be about the vision piece, right? You don't open up a hamburger stand because there's a lack of McDonald's in the world. You think, I'm going to dent the universe in a way nobody else has. I'm going to approach this in kind of a unique way. So let's start out with briefly, what was the driving mission, passion, vision that made you go, rather than joining an existing agency? And actually, let me kind of throw this in as well. Nowadays, what marketing companies, PR companies, ad agencies, production companies all do is kind of getting all jumbled together, right? We're all kind of doing the same thing, even though we might have different terms for it. So first, how would you define Modifly?
Absolutely. So Modifly is a social media agency that is focused on creating meaningful connections through social media. With that, we look at everything a little bit different. Right now in the United States alone, there's 122,000 agencies, anywhere from PR to marketing, ads, creative, brand, whatever it may be, integrative. I said typically right now the agency model is two ways. One, you can have everything separate, or two, you have creative and media, and they're usually two separate individuals. We said that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
For a company to achieve the goals that they need to, you have to put the two together. You have to know everything about that company from brand to message to goals, top to bottom, know only the people that are making the actual visual elements behind it and the actual messaging behind it, but also then with the placement.
Right.
So we took all that, combined it, and built a platform that allows for us to have massive amounts of market research in a blink of an eye. We call that Modware. So what Modware does is essentially takes open sourced information from Google and Twitter, all social media platforms, finds what's going on in the world with specific goals that we set for it, and then gives us a consumer report, competitor report, really shows us what's working, why, who, where, and when.
Yeah, I love that. I'm an older person, right? I was around back in the old days of media, and that was so kind of universal and monolithic, where nowadays we've got dozens of platforms. There's social media platforms I've never even heard of,
Yep.
right? But they aren't monolithic. It's what you make for YouTube doesn't necessarily be replicated over on Facebook, on Twitter. So we truly must understand the platform as we're designing the media. So like you said, those two pieces have to be working hand in hand.
Absolutely. So it all goes back to who are you going after, who are you trying to work with, who's your target customer, and why.
And where are they going to consume it, and what's the consumption pattern on that platform?
It's as basic as knowing to reach the two of us, just because of an age difference potentially, you could be reached on a different platform than I would be.
Right.
And those are really the conversations that brands are just now starting over the last 12 months or less to really look at.
To recognize the distinction. So the founding of Modifly was based on the recognition, it sounds like, that media and strategy have to be intertwined.
Absolutely. So it really started with the fact of a horror story. Every client I've ever worked with I've heard the same thing. They've taken advantage of me. They haven't done what they said they were going to do. And I said, it's just not right. The fundamental core value of us is be a good person.
Right.
It's literally our number one value in the company. And with that comes all the elements everybody talks about of real results, transparency, everything.
Yeah, it's all about authenticity. One of the things that I just find so humorous is I deal with, say, larger companies that used to buy traditional media. Fundamentally, they were buying influence, right? Old media was, we're going to shove this in your face, like it or not. And so as I explained to them, this is a more inbound world. This is really about making people like you, or I shouldn't say making, getting people to like you. And then they go, okay, how do we force somebody to like me? And it's like, well, okay, you're missing the point there, right? You have to be likable. You can't force that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so you're helping guide people through that. But I understand also you are very purposeful in going, we need to see results.
Absolutely. So something, once again, the horror story of unfulfilled expectations from a marketing community to our clients, that was a huge element. And out of every time that's happened, it comes back to the results. Most of the brands and clients that we work with have a bottom line result, dollars in versus dollars out. Some of them have results such as social media growth, impact on creative, influence activations, things like that too. But when it comes down to it, is this making me money? And that's really what marketing is for. So with that, a huge underlying factor of us is not only create those relationships and connections through social media, but also leverage those relationships in such a way that it's beneficial for not only the consumer, but also the brand to create the results that we're looking for.
Right. So let's unwind that a little bit, because one of the challenges is traditional media and a lot of the current media really is about brand building. It's really about awareness building. But one of the things that the digital world brought to us was a clickable ad.
Yes.
And so the world of business suddenly went, holy cow, here's something that I can directly measure. There's a straight line, clicked on ad, made purchase. And they want that same straight line with every piece of content they're making, even though, again, some content is more about brand building. And we'll see this happening. We do a show with the San Diego American Marketing Association, where within agencies, there are kind of knife fights over attribution because so much is indirect. So how do you manage that situation where some things are directly click, make sale, other things are still brand building? How do you gauge the impact of this in a way that is measurable?
Absolutely. So it's a little more, to be honest, than just click buy.
Right.
That there's 45 other things that go in between and before that. But when you look at it, is everything is trackable online.
Right.
Everything. If somebody tells you otherwise, they don't know what they're talking about.
Right. But how do we look? They saw the video, they listened to a podcast, they read our white paper. How do we know when they circle back around and buy?
Absolutely. So it all really comes back to the funnel build. So through elements of tracking with UTM codes to pixels, drip email campaigns that are then applied. Like for the white paper, if they're entering an email, you can create a separate mailing list knowing where they came from. So there's ways to separate capture and attribution that way. However, there's always going to be overlap. So when you look at the quote knife fight, that shouldn't be happening. And the idea of that is you're accomplishing your client or your own business's goals. It doesn't really, if it came from ads or if it came from influence or a white paper, whatever it may be, the bottom line is it impacted the goal in a positive way.
Right.
So now we know where to leverage, what knob to twist, and what to do more of.
So it sounds like the secret is you got to get them into your ecosphere. And then once they're in your ecosphere, then they are trackable, and you can find out, okay, where did they drop off? After they clicked here, where did they click there? So to get the attention, right now we're talking to CMOs, small business CEOs, people, the marketing managers that are in charge of this within these companies. What do you want them to understand about how Modify can truly give them impact?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we do We have client relationships with the rev shares. We have client relationships where we pay for the actual media spend because we're so confident in it. Our bottom line is if you have a KPI of right now your conversion rate's 1.2%, you need it to be at 2.2%. I'm not guaranteeing we can make that happen right away, but we'll help you find it to the closest way possible.
And whatever you do will have measurements behind it.
Absolutely, and we'll be able to point everything out before it's even done. So with that, our bottom line is results. And so if we can help you provide the results your company or your brand is looking for, that's what we're here to do. And we do it in such a way that's a little bit different compared to most. We don't come in at a price point that you're looking at saying, I could buy a house for some of this. We come in knowing that there's skepticism within the industry. All of our contracts are month to month with a 30-day release time, which we've only ever lost a total of 5 clients in the lifespan of 3 years. So when we look at it, it's going back to the fundamental value of being a good person, doing what you say you're going to do, and ensuring that your goals are then represented in such a way that if they're unachievable, we'll let you know. But for the most part, we'll get as close as possible and or exceed them.
Okay, so fundamentally, you're going to set a result that's achievable, right? You're not going to give them pie in the sky stuff.
Yeah.
And then throughout the process, you're going to be showing them how you are moving to that achievement.
Yep.
And again, with 5 seconds, you got to get them into your ecosphere. Once they're in your ecosphere, now you can start tracking. Now you can have some control. So thanks to Elijah Schneider. He is the CEO and founder of Modifly. Learn more about him at wemodifly.com. Back next time with more great information here on Leadership's Insights Radio, powered by WSRadio.com.
The National Academy of Distinguished Neutrals is an invitation-only association of over 700 of America's premier civil trial mediators and arbitrators, as rated by local litigators. The Academy's website is an invaluable resource. Firms can search for a neutral by case experience or region, and even check available dates for local mediators and arbitrators online for free. No referral or admin fees. Please visit the Academy at nadn.org today for more information.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McCullough brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcCullough.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McCullough. ChristopherMcCullough.com.
You've heard me talking about Progressive Medical Center. They have helped me feel my best. And Dr. Gully, tell us a little bit about integrative medicine. Why is that such a big deal at Progressive Medical Center, and how can that make me feel better?
Integrative medicine is just good medicine. It's combining the best of traditional medicine, nutritional medicine, natural medicine, and really helping the patient get to the root cause so they can take control of their health and really make an impact to improve not only their energy, their vitality, and just their overall outlook on their health and their life.
I procrastinated waited for a long time before I finally made an appointment. So why should someone not delay and go ahead and get set up and come see you guys?
Any journey begins with that first step, and that first step means making a decision to recognize that there's something wrong with you. Whether you have fatigue, inappropriate weight gain, not sleeping well, not concentrating, all of these issues, you can get to the root cause.
So many of us here at The Fish have gotten help from Progressive Medical Center. So why don't you find out more from them today? Go to progressivemedicalcenter.com.
This is your life, live it well.